The FDA has approved a powerful painkiller that's 1,000 times stronger than morphine. The news comes as we approach the 20th year of the opioid crisis in America, and this public health disaster is getting worse.
Harry Nelson is the managing partner of Nelson Hardiman, a law firm representing healthcare providers. He's also chairman of the Behavioral Health Association of Providers and the author of the new book, The United States of Opioids, a prescription for liberating a nation in pain. Welcome. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Yeah, thanks. Great to be with you guys.
The foreword of your book, written by Lisa Presley, daughter of Elvis Presley, and when he died of a drug overdose in 1977, folks lied about it. And I just wonder, are we better as a nation now in terms of recognizing, identifying, understanding the long-term effects of drug abuse?
I think we're getting better. I still think there's a long way to go. There still is a shame and a stigma that's attached to addiction, and we're starting to recognize that part of overcoming the opioid crisis is actually addressing that, but I still think we have a way to go.
The powerful new painkiller that we mentioned just a few moments ago, it's called Disuvia. It is 10 times more powerful than fentanyl, 1,000 times more powerful than morphine. Some doctors are saying this should never have been approved by the FDA in the first place.
Yeah, Jessica, it's a really interesting thing. A lot of people are concerned that drug makers are able to put out more and more powerful drugs. And the question is, do we really need a drug as powerful as Disuvia? The fentanyl seems to be doing just fine, but we still see products coming on the market that are more and more deadly as a result of their potency.
We all want to say, here's who's to blame. A lot of people blame the drug makers themselves, the middlemen. Who is to blame, and how did this happen? How did we have a system that allowed these drugs to just suddenly flood the market?
So one of the points I try to make in the book is two things. First, certainly the drug makers and Purdue Pharma with the OxyContin disaster of just marketing the drug so aggressively certainly was, you can blame them for igniting the fire, but there were multiple points of health system here of failure, health system failure. There were doctors who overprescribed the drug. You had government agencies who were telling people that pain was the fifth vital sign and pressuring doctors. You had insurance companies. So there were multiple points of health system failure. But one of the points of my book is that we have to look beyond just blaming the health system. There's a lot of work for the health system to do, but we all have a part to do in thinking about how we respond to pain, our own pain and the pain of people around us, and acknowledging the stress that everybody's living under today.
Yeah.
And Harry, then would you say that a lot of this too has to do with the fact that there's a lack of education as to what these drugs can do? And, you know, a doctor prescribes you something, you think, oh, this is going to help me. I'm only going to get better from this. And a lot of people have not had that result.
Yeah,
right?
Jessica, 100%. That's a big issue a big challenge that I have is we're 20 years into a crisis of rising overdose death rates, and there's still so little awareness of how dangerous these drugs are, and there's pressure on doctors. A lot of people want to blame the doctors, but there's also pressure on doctors. One doctor said to me, it takes 30 seconds to say yes to prescribing. It takes, and it takes 30 minutes to say no.
Right.
So, you know, the challenge is people have to take it upon themselves to worry about the drugs that they're taking, that their kids are taking, and not to just be quick to accept the prescription.
You say there's been an impact on underground drug trafficking from the legalization of marijuana. Tell me how.
So it's a controversial topic, right? A lot of people think that legalization has created a pathway. If you talk to parents, a lot of people will tell you the story that their kids drank and then used marijuana and went on to opioids or other drugs. But there's also been positive evidence coming out of the states that have legalized that there are fewer overdoses and that, that essentially part of the turn that drug traffickers have made to illegal fentanyl and to heroin has been because marijuana has become legal. So there really are two sides of the story around marijuana, and it's going to play out. We're going to see more and more. But I am hopeful that there's positive news on one side of more options, but there's also this danger that drug traffickers have turned to much more deadly drugs to fill the void.
The book is titled The United States of Opioids. Harry Nelson is a partner at Nelson Hardiman, a law firm for healthcare providers. For more information, you can check out the website. And thank you to Harry Nelson for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Harry.